Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Saturday, February 17th. A brief break today, along with a cold start. It's going to be dry. That is until we get to this evening and tomorrow. This is a quick-hitting storm. Light amounts for the most part, even in some of the higher elevations, much lighter than some of our previous events. There will be some wind around, but not much in the way of impacts from that. But active weather returns, and it looks like just about every day this week or every 24 hours or so, we will see a chance of rain and snow across our area. We continue to watch a surge of moisture coming in from the south and to the west. Right now, the main area of low pressure remains well offshore. We've got a push coming in that's a quick hitter. That's why we're not expecting much with this push that's coming through later today and tonight. A few low clouds, maybe a little bit of patchy fog around this morning and into the early afternoon, but right now nothing we've put in the forecast or anything that we're thinking will be a widespread major impact at the moment. There's our next round coming tomorrow. With that southwest flow coming in, once you get up into portions of Limhi County over into the Lost River area, those amounts really drop off what amounts there are going to be falling over the next 36 to 48 hours. But otherwise, just some minor impacts elsewhere across the area, and there's that chance of rain and snow throughout the rest of the week, at least through our forecast period going through Wednesday. And any real impacts at this point look to be up in the higher elevations of central and eastern Idaho. So for the forecast today, we've moved our forecast ahead to 5 p.m. as we go through this evening. A little bit of light snow approaching by late evening into portions of the Sawtooth, also down around Twin Falls, west of Burley as well. This will continue to push east through the overnight hours, and most of this pretty much falling as snow. The only place we might see just warm enough for a rain-snow mix is down west of Burley, over to the west of Burley into the Twin Falls area along the interstate corridor there. There will be some gusty southerly winds, not terribly strong, and some of that mixing is helping keep the temperatures warmer, a little warmer overnight farther to the west. But you'll notice this moves through rather quickly, and by tomorrow afternoon, we're just seeing most of the activity up in the central mountains, up into the eastern highlands and the higher elevations. We'll see a few afternoon showers developing elsewhere across the area. But again, this is going to be moving through quickly. And by the time we get to late tomorrow afternoon into the early evening hours, things should be starting to really wind down with this round of precipitation moving through our area. So for this afternoon, temperatures generally in the 30s and most of our lower elevations. Won't be until we get into the Magic Valley, down towards Oakley, City of Rocks, into the Treasure Valley. We start to see those low to mid 40s for afternoon highs. Elsewhere, 20s across the board for afternoon temperatures. So here's our first round, and that first round really doesn't arrive until maybe closer to midnight, but definitely after midnight. Light precipitation, maybe a couple of inches in the higher elevations of the central mountains. Most of the wind is still down valley over the Snake Plain and Magic Valley, and again, typical strongest area of seeing those winds is around Jerome Butte over into the Treasure Valley. Some of those gusts over 30 miles per hour. We got some southerly gap winds developing, some downslope winds basically from south of Twin, and that'll continue on up towards Idaho Falls. They aren't going to be terribly strong. Some minor downslope effects from those winds, but right now, nothing that would be terribly cutting into any precipitation amounts for this part of southern and southeastern Idaho. We go through to tomorrow morning, those low temperatures. Generally, where we get a little bit of that downslope wind, it's really staying below freezing. The only place we might see it closer to above freezing is, again, getting back into the western part of the Magic Valley, into the Treasure Valley. Elsewhere, teens and 20s. Now, for tomorrow morning, there is that little bit of impact, very limited impact from downslope winds from around Blackfoot back to the south and to the west. Some of those gusts, 20 to 30 miles per hour at times, not solidly throughout that period. So, but you'll notice there's not a lot of snowfall, generally 1 to 2 inches, maybe 2 to 3 in some of the higher elevations, maybe a little bit more over into the Sawtooths. Not much in the way of the wind that's out there producing blowing and drifting snow. There will be some, It'll be limited impacts, but certainly something to keep an eye on if you're going to be out and about for tomorrow morning across the area. But you'll see as we go into the afternoon hours, the winds generally becoming south and southwest across the board. Wind speeds dropping off a little bit, but still some gusts over 25 miles an hour in a few spots. And by tomorrow afternoon, very limited snowfall, just light snow over the lower elevations. Maybe a couple of inches up into the big holes, the Tetons up into the Island Park area, also along the Bear River Range and the highest peaks of the Sawtooths for tomorrow afternoon. And that trend continues to quickly wind down through tomorrow evening. Highs tomorrow, we should be warmer as we do get the back edge of that coming through in the afternoon. We're getting those winds to switch to the south and to the west, helping to mix out and warm things up. We're looking at quite a few 40s, maybe close to 50 down towards Malta, also Burley over into the Treasure Valley as well. Elsewhere, we're looking at 20s and 30s for highs tomorrow afternoon. Going into Monday, we won't get into any precipitation amounts. Just know they'll be light, very little impact expected, except maybe up the Sawtooths, the Big Holes, Island Park, and down in the Bear River Range, but still nothing too major coming our way with any of these rounds of precipitation later on in the week. You'll notice that we'll see more 40s across the board, definitely pushing a few more spots near 50 on Monday down across the Magic Valley and Treasure Valley, even so a little bit more on Tuesday, and then we kind of fluctuate within a handful of degrees every day through the first part of the week. So certainly we continue with rain and snow potential during the day when it's the warmest, and snow for anything in the overnight hours. That also lends to the freeze-thaw pattern that we're typically see this time of year, especially when we go through these warmer parts of February, the latter half of February. So once again, it's a cold start this morning, but it's going to be dry until we get late this evening into tonight and tomorrow. It's a quick-hitting storm with limited impacts from any blowing and drifting snow, any downslope, upslope wind pattern, light overall amounts for snowfall. Just a continuation of an active pattern we're expecting as we head into the rest of the upcoming week. Have a great Saturday, and do stay safe out there, everyone.